Q1Q Pharmacy. Quality healthcare at affordable price.
Summer holidays vandachu, நம்ம GT Holidays vandachu. GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
Vandachu, the Chennai Silks Mega Combo Sale, Summer Chill Out Sale.
They're repressurising something with what looked like a kind of a hand pump. Bonnet went up, he's stuck in a little kind of a small bicycle pump type thing, and they've repressurised something. I'm not au fait with GT4 requirements pressurisation. That front right, as you can see, has had a bit of a smack. He's got in the back of something or someone. It's broken the glass on the lights. You'll need those later, chaps. And it's had some excellent tank take work as well. Driver stayed on board, no tyre change. That one was simply to pump something up.
He's got probably a little bit of a nuisance there with Crowell right behind him as Hoffer in the fueling area, fueling up, as is the Vortex. The Vortex, they're fueling on the right-hand side, the Mercedes of...
And as far as I'm aware, was a GT3 spec car to run in NLS, and whether or not he's going to get his license, so we may even see him, you know, but that would be... I mean, you know what, I do a lot of historic racing as well, and having current Formula One drivers running in sports car racing or any other kind of racing was a thing in the past, you know, the 60s, 70s and even into the 80s. That was a common feature. You'd have Jim Clark running in the British Saloon Car Championship in a Mark 1 Cortina. You'd have them running in, because basically they didn't make any real big money in Formula One. It's perhaps not necessary for them to make money these days, but what a great, I mean, that's pure, that's Max Verstappen. Doesn't matter what you think of him, he's an outstanding race driver, and it would be fantastic to see him running in a GT race, running in an endurance sports car race. We know how much he loves his sim racing. I think there's a rumour that he was feeding his baby whilst driving around on his sim, which he isn't the first one to do that.
No,
yeah,
it probably won't be the last.
Yeah, he isn't, yeah.
No, it's wonderful. To see, what I want to see is if he's going to do the Nürburgring, he has to go and get his permit. To see him doing it in like a front-wheel drive Hyundai or a BMW 320i or something to get his permit.
Yeah, that's right. I know. That's even better.
The other day, Lionel Amrouche got out of the Vortex, and it's been in the pits for a little while. He looked to be a little bit stiff getting out the car. Nick Damon's right there with it.
I came down here thinking it's like a relatively normal stop. Lionel hopped out. There was no real effort on the car. I mean, not saying they won't try, but they're just general nothing. Oh my God, there's a problem. But there was no one actually ready to hop back in again, which makes it Lionel, as you said, the hopping out part could be the clue. And perhaps he wasn't supposed to get out of the car at that point, and it was an injury, or he's sitting down and he's getting a glass of water. Lionel doesn't speak English very well, so it's hard to work out what's going on. But it's a possibility that I think it's Cyril Kalman who's got in, but I wouldn't want to bet my house on it. Mainly, I think it's Philip Bonnell around. I'll go try some sign language with Lionel. Oh, okay. His ankle got up, isn't it? His ankle is out, and he's looking. Yeah, he's whether it's or a just basic problem.
I know that feeling. We had that feeling yesterday when we climbed up those full cuts.
Bonnell around. I'll go try some sign language with Lionel. Oh, okay. His ankle got up, isn't it? His ankle is out, and he's looking. Yeah, he's whether it's or a just basic problem.
I know that feeling. We had that feeling yesterday when we climbed up those full cuts. We were talking about the Vortex V8 as we watched the RPM team change their brakes after 6 hours?
No, 5 hours 45.
5 hours 45.
By that again, so, 4 hours 45.
Well, this is very heavy. Before we tell Kevin about the Vortex, we'll just discuss this RPM Racing's change of brakes. You could ask very early on, is it early? You know, how long will the brakes last? Will the brakes last? If the brakes last 8 hours and you're in a 12-hour race, then, you know, you can change them once you get inside that 8-hour window. We might see this as a first of 2 changes of brakes because Mazzano is relatively heavy on brakes. Let's have a dodge back down to the pits, Nick.
Okay. Can you film those pads? Okay. See the meat on those pads. That's from the right-hand side. Now, Nico, come with me. Film those pads there, and you see the amount of meat on the left-hand side. They've got uneven wear. Really uneven wear on their pads, boys. So this is, I'm not sure if it shows or not, but that's their problem. They've got uneven wear left to right.
Isn't that common that you get uneven wear on a...
Not side to side, Joe, no. Might get uneven wear from the leading and the trailing shoe, but not side to side.
Right, you might want to chat to them about that. Is that what's causing them problems? You might have had one of those pads glaze, so it just becomes a brick.
They're now also examining the rotor as well, which came off the right-hand side, the brake disc. I'll be multilingual there, but yeah, so that's why they've changed it. This one of those pads looks virtually unused. Now, that was a strange thing to happen, but we'll try and grab a word with someone. There's Nick Johnson. Let's see if Nick can...
50 kph, then all of a sudden you're braking while turning down to 150 and then down to 65 kph, all while the wheel's not straight. So you're always going to be leaning on one side. The car's weighted towards the left-hand side. So that makes a lot of sense. What will be curious to see, do the other 992 teams follow that same pattern? Or are they going to try and get away with one brake change?
But they are, again, having this side-by-side wear situation, which I generally have not seen before. This is really interesting about trail braking.
Yeah, it makes sense.
As you speed in. I'll go quick, Baz now.
All right.
It's just typical, but RPM Racing, the number 907, has just come in, and it is Nick Johnson, as you quite rightly said, getting out of that car. There is a driver change. Philip Hempreck is getting behind the wheel in a few seconds. They're just adjusting him and his seatbelts, and they're changing all the tyres, having a good look around the car, cleaning the windscreen. But as ever, a pretty slick stop by these guys. They're now changing
with the Aston Martin straight back into the pits. Is that just a check?
He left, did he?
I'm not sure. I don't think he did.
No, he's still down. He hasn't done a lap. He's still down to 2 hours 20 in the pit. So they wheeled it out. Obviously said press go.
Right.
Thanks, Don.
Yeah, so not quite right. Not quite ready for
action,
yeah, to be taken back out.
So still being led by the Haas RT machine from Kenneth Hire now. Kenneth in the red hand. Obviously Kenneth historically has been in this championship for so many years, but with as the hot shoe within the Hoffa racing team, they've now
has, I think, the coolest helmet design in the Creventic paddock. With the blue and yellow is native Sweden with little other colours in there. It looks absolutely superb. Must be a Swedish thing, because Rydell's helmet was so cool with the blue and the yellow on it.
Yeah, I mean, it takes me back to Ronnie Peterson, actually. Perhaps the biggest racing star to come out of Sweden. Tragically killed in Formula One in 1978. Never quite completed a championship win, but certainly won a few Grand Prix. But yeah, that blue and yellow, the Swedish blue and yellow, that most of the drivers that we've come across will still be there representing Sweden. And I mean, Nick's been an American citizen now for quite a number of years, I think. He's been in America for probably over 25 years. However, still showing his native roots and still proud to be Swedish underneath.
Cool to have two places to call home, really. As Viper Niza Racing come in with their Mercedes AMG. They're going to keep driver on board? No, they're going to do a driver change. So that was brought in by Douglas Coe, the team owner. We had Dominic Ang in at the start, so I would think by the laws of deduction, that would mean that Melvin Moe will be next into the car, who had a really impressive career when he was younger. Came through the Petronas Formula Experience program, which got him a drive in Formula BMW, and he's very much the coach in this car for Douglas Coe and for Dominic Ang. A great racing scene in Malaysia. It's an amazing country. I had the privilege of visiting there on a couple of occasions. I visited there about 10 years ago, and yeah, had a really good time in Kuala Lumpur. A great racing scene. You look at the number of drivers that compete in Carrera Cup Asia and all the way around as well, and Sepang very much a part of international motorsport as well. Let's get more from Diana.
just at that moment, Krone Racing have come in and Tracy, or RPM Racing, I should say, Tracy's just jumping out. Nick Johnson will get in behind the wheel, but Philip Hemprecht is standing watching with me. So, Philip, just give us an idea. I can see Nick helping Tracy get out, putting that seat in. What is it like from a driver's perspective when all that's happening?
Yeah, I mean, it's really hectic because here we can be, or you have to be as quick as possible. There's no standing time, like, for example, 24 hours Nürburgring or stuff like this. So we have to be really quick. Obviously, in our case, it's a little bit funny because Tracy is very big, very tall. Nick is quite short, and I'm just in between. So we do have a shell that Nick and I share. Actually, we have the same shell. And then we just have to move the seat forward and backward. So, we practice quite a bit always from Wednesday onwards when we're testing.
For younger drivers as well, Colin Brown wouldn't have got his real break without Tracy. Philip Hemprecht, getting, like, he's 27, he's been there for 3 years, and they've been able to get lots and lots of seat time. I tell you what, Red Ant Racing are putting Mark Goossens to work. He's definitely no ceremonial ambassador anyway, that's for sure. He's right there on his hands and knees helping the driver get into the car. And
Mercedes, that's still got Neville Jones doing his thing in that car, and they are going about their race, albeit only one car in the GT4 class. They're still going about this race as they would if they were under pressure from other GT4 runners. So, Pandre, I hope that has cleared that up. This is multi-class racing with two main categories here at Misano for the 12 hours of Misano for this one.
So, just under 9 hours left to go here in the Michelin 12 Hours of Misano. Red Ant Racing just completing service on their Mercedes AMG, having just Continental Racing in the pits, who have joined Nick Damon.
Yeah, they've done a couple of weird things recently. Well, I say recently, a few like they came through just for fuel a couple of times, and now, unfortunately, this is not a standard stop. There is a computer attached. There is peering going on into the middle of the car, which if you are au fait with Audis, you know that's where the engine is. And they haven't taken off the Perspex cover just yet. Having a bit of a stare in. Driver staying on board, who is it Vlodkin who's is on board, isn't he? Who set the very fast time in qualifying. They're having a real old peer in, and I'm not quite sure what you can visually see that also requires a computer to be plugged in, unless they're looking for like an actuator to actually move in some way. And they're pointing. So this is quite a strange one. They've not tried to do tyres. I don't think they did fuel. I might be wrong. I don't think they did fuel. You'll know that later on by the length of time in the pits, hopefully, because you do get a fuel stop in. I didn't know. So this is very much a staring and having a look. The Audi customer racing guys are also looking on intently, but as it stands at the moment, there is just a. What are you having a look at? Something is on the dashboard looking at something. It's flashing away. I think they're trying to do some cycling and trying to get the thing into a particular. I shall continue watching here in a kind of a spy sort of observy way, and get back to you when I have something concrete.
I actually think, Nick, looking at that they are downloading some sort of data, and whilst the data engineer is doing that, they're having visual inspection to see if something's apparent. So the driver's probably reporting on an issue and speculation, speculate until the cows come home. Whilst we download the data, the mechanics are looking around to see if it's something apparent. Whatever it is, they're sending the car back out because the car's just left the pit apron now.
Car came in. That was all going full service driver change. Going great till they dropped it off the jack. He just sat there for about 15 seconds. I think they tried to select neutral before they could start the car again. Right in front of me, it's the Red Ant Racing with Ajith Kumar machine, and Ajith himself is getting into the car. So the YouTube channel should get ready for quite a lot of comments coming in the next few minutes. We've also had the Red Camel Jordan. They just came through for fuel only and then rolled past. I can see about 9 and 11, the green and red Porsche, that's also stopped, but they've been quite towards the back of the field the whole time. The Vortex is in. Vortex, of course, remember, leading SPX and not on fire.
Pretty back forth, really pushing. He says it's like watching someone aggressively milk a cow. He says with their hands going up and down as the Viper Niza Mercedes has rolled into the pits, and we've switched over to Nick Damon.
Yes, it's a new pit stop and a new pit stop person to describe it. Yes, the Viper needs a team. This time they did stop for a nice long slug of fuel at the fuel station. We're going to have a look at that fuel station in a minute. We'll have a chance to have a look while it's a bit quiet. And obviously, yeah, the pictures will tell 1,000 words. You're listening on radio and TV now. There's an engineer staring deep into the engine, straight on the block. So they're not looking at electrics. They do seem to look at more mechanical elements. It's not a plugging in computer. It's kind of a waving, pointing bit. And I think it looks like they are. Perhaps it might be an ignition issue, not overly sure, but they are having a good old go. Yeah, so having a look at the top mount. Yeah, I think it's certainly from the electric issues on the. What about that? This is a spot the unit. Now I'm not totally au fait with your multi-litre AMG V8. They're pulling off this particular unit at the top. It's now. It can't be the alternator up there. No, it's not. They're working on, but it's like an electrical element after all. Let's see whether we can get a quick word with Dominic, see what the problem was. Hi there, how you doing? So what's brought you in the pit?
I think we have some power steering problem, yeah.
It's the power steering pump they're taking off, I see. So I mean, is it a problem where it's failed completely or it's gone intermittent?
I think it's already failed, but I'm not sure what caused the problem, yeah, but it's really no power steering now, yeah. So it's very heavy, yeah.
So is it impossible to drive the car without power steering or just very difficult?
Yeah, for the car like this you need. Maybe Formula 1 you don't need, but this you need, yeah, too heavy.
How's the rest of how's your first stint going? I mean, the car seemed competitive to that problem?
Yeah, I think overall was quite good. Yeah, we were trying to feel safe to go long. Then with the code 60, and then after that, putting on another set of tires, we are allowed to push, but then the problem came, yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Douglas Cole. The good news is, as we saw them working on it, it looks like rather than being buried at the bottom of the entire engine, the power steering pump, which they are working on now and removing, is very near the top, which is quite rare. So it looks like they're going to be able to get to that relatively quickly. Hopefully they have a new unit available. And they won't be in too long, guys.
The Mercedes teams, they all stick together. We were hearing that last night. That the Red Ant team, they didn't have any drive shafts. They managed to get some drive shafts from the Hoffer team. And
yeah, that was at Spa, wasn't it? Or was it Mugello?
Oh, good question.
Yeah, Sod's Law would dictate that once I've given you those drive shafts, and I am going to get them back eventually, but I just know that my car's now going to have a failed drive shaft. So the reason I've got drive shafts on the they may have had more than two.
Spares.
Yeah. But if they were my last two, I'd be.
That's the height of generosity.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Jeff Michiels has just set the absolute best in Sector 1, so he's really pushing on in the Haas RT Audi, and Haas RT, it was
falling out of rhythm, about to put the Era Motorsport Ferrari a lap down. That Era Motorsport Ferrari, the black and grey car there ahead of him.
That's the Continental car. That's a different Audi.
Is that an Audi? Looks like a Ferrari from this angle.
That's a Ferrari.
I need to be close to the screen.
For sixth.
All right, okay.
You do need to be close to the screen.
I do need to be close to the screen.
In their defence, the Haas RT car is also blue. It's a blue Audi leading the race.
Right, so that's right. Okay.
There we go.
Can I swap seats?
Yes.
Show close to the screen.
Good idea.
Yeah, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. That is the 69.
Yes. So this is battle over.
Right.
Over
let's start. I'll come in again.
We'll start that again.
Right. That's the Continental Racing by Simpson Motorsport Audi that is chasing down the Era Motorsport Ferrari. So that is actually a battle for position. 6th and 7th places coming together now. See, we can edit that bit out, can't we? In the edit. That will be there. We'll just get rid of that.
That's it.
While that battle continues, the Mercedes is continuing to have that power steering pump repaired. The car still in. You heard Nick Damon describe that. But I think, Peter, the battle for 6th and 7th, there's absolutely nothing in it. We don't really need a stopwatch to tell us how close those cars are. They're about to come through, and the question is, we know how experienced Kyle Tilley is. He's not going to give away that position too readily as they just get around the GT4 contender, the British team, Venture, here with their Mercedes GT4. And it was, we heard from the starting driver, Matt George, was saying that they were going to go about their race as they were, they're going to learn, they go through, they're going to drive as fast as they can. And Neville Jones, the team principal, the team owner, he's now at the wheel of that car. But it's this battle here that has just cleared that GT4 Mercedes and will continue on. And Kyle Tilley has responded, hasn't he,
So you're having to replace bits of the final drive and the transmission as well?
Yeah, I don't know exactly the damage and the issues that the car has now, but yeah, we have a very expensive reparation, and that's a shame, man.
If it's the fact that the Porsche did lose it, because there's always two sides to every racing incident, who knows?
Antonio Sinero is always a very happy, smiling young man, very positive, but I've never seen him more frustrated and disappointed than that. That's such a shame, and it's a culmination of...
Arrived back on pit lane, unfortunately on the back of a recovery truck, and we will see that car being dropped off. It's got damaged, that left rear, clear signs of impact as we get the green flag flying. That's the code 60, the first code 60 of the Misano 12 hours for 2025. They'll be amazed to see there no more code 60s. We expect that to be a factor, certainly. And already, as you've described, Peter, with regards to fuel allocation during that code 60 period, it's going to be hard to judge when the pit stops are going to come. Let's head down to Di, though. She's in the pit lane.
You were talking about Haas RT and whether they changed tyres. They did indeed, all 4 tyres and a driver change for them. E2P Racing, you've just mentioned the car is just being lifted off the truck now down onto the pit apron. I'm just running up towards it, so I can't see how much damage there is to the car. It doesn't look too bad from the rear of the car, but they're just about to drop that down and push it back into the garage.
It's going to be a lengthy repair, I think, unfortunately for E2P Racing, but they'll get it moving. Also, weirdly, well, it's not glass. The engine cover basically on the or if it was a mid-engine car, of course not an engine cover. The rear window has popped out.
No, they take that out to recover the car.
Ah, right. Okay. That is a strange one. So yeah, a little bit of damage there to repair. It was a pretty rocky ride on the tail lift as well. So a little bit of work for E2P Racing to get on with. So what it means then, Matus Weibo leads the race for Scuderia Praha from Jeff Michels from Haas RT Audi by 4.6 seconds. Then it's a further 6 seconds back to Kobe de Bruyker in the red. Well, it's an important an important discussion. Amazing work, Di, from Seb Lejeune Racing.
Yes, they're back out on the pit apron now. The team have just placed the car within their box, putting new tyres onto that car. The driver is behind the wheel. I can't see who it is, unfortunately. They're just tightening up the wheel nuts now. So they've done a really quick job on that, so not as much damage as they had feared, and they're just about to fire that car up now and head back into the race.
That's amazing work. Let's see, we'll have are in second. Red Ant in third. Proton Huber, who of course started, they've been leading the whole way. They're now in fourth, but looking at the pit stop time, the pit stop time for Proton Huber is different. It's about 30 seconds or more longer. Probably because they've done a driver change, but I would imagine they've put new tyres on as well. Whereas, interesting, the Haas RT team, they managed to do a driver change, and you would think that they would change. They did change tyres. They've done a pit stop way quicker, 2:11.
Such as how they produce their lap time is, we've talked about the 992 car being really, really quick in a straight line. So you're not necessarily going to just fly past it on the straight. You're going to have to plan it. You're going to have to plan it on the brakes. And I think that looks like a case of the Aston maybe turning in on the Porsche. That's usually what happens with the faster car. Yeah, it's turned in, and it looked like the steering rod had been snapped, isn't it? Which is kind of common when you get an impact on that front axle.
So that's at turn 4, which is they enter there to hit the brakes at 200 kilometers an hour and apex at 80. Given that it's on the right-hand side of the Seb Lejeune car, I think that the E2P Aston Martin tried to fit up the inside and then bang, they caught each other.
Maybe the other way around.
Maybe they turned the E2P car round and into the wall.
Yeah, we haven't got any footage of that.
No,
we're able to analyse, but just assumption. Yeah,
we are. We are, of course, speculating at this point, but what it means is that there's two cars that are going to have lengthy delays for repair. It seems like there is significant damage to the front right of that beautiful 888 Porsche.
It brings to mind, though, Peter, a thing that's been at the forefront of my mind coming into this event. With such a narrow grid, a smaller grid than we perhaps normally see, it is going to pay dividends to repair the car no matter what. We've still got 11 hours of racing, and your competitors who are around you, who's to say that they're not going to encounter some sort of adversity like that? So it does pay to repair the car. It doesn't matter how long it takes, and there's every chance that you will regain and have a drive, a recovery drive to the podium.
Yeah, very true, very true. Let's get more from Di.
Driver's not in there.
Kelly Loader, no, the driver is out of E2P Aston Martin. Di.
Now, obviously, and he's obviously, if you can, that would be fantastic. Yes, I just wanted to know from Seb's perspective what happened out there on the track.
For Seb Ledoux Racing, and yeah, just a little. We talked about multi-class traffic a moment ago, didn't we? About how do you get through, and it's such a balance of not hesitating, not losing time, but also keeping the risk under control. It's so
you
tough.
have to think about it, don't you? You have to think about it. It's not an easy task, even when you're in a GT3 car, which is much quicker across a lap than a 999.
Haas RT also in, and they're going to put at least 2 new Michelin tyres on the car.
Oh, they'll go 4, Peter.
Oh, 4, yeah. You wouldn't just put 2 on. Yes, there's.
Have they gone have they put tyres on that car?
Yes, there was a tyre change going on, and a driver change too.
And the fuel. If they don't do that, and there's the Aston telling us that that's basically confirming it is the Aston that is involved in that incident at turn 4, Peter.
Oh.
But yes, fueling on the way in, then you go to your pit apron.
So that E2P Aston Martin in the wall at turn 4, and the tyre is off the rim on the rear left. Antonio Cinero with his hands on his hips, shaking his head, probably thinking, how do we catch a break this season? There's a new car for them this season with the Aston Martin, and it's just not going their way.
Now then, right front damage on the 888 numbered Sebastian Ledoux Porsche, left rear damage on the Aston. That has been recovered by a recovery tractor. Call me a detective, but I would say that's right front to left rear.
I was going to say this is your police experience.
Well, that's my race commentary experience.
Sure. Let's get an update from Diana.
Wheeled into the garage, obviously under no power. They have to push the car back into the garage area from the pit apron, and only 4 members of the team can do that. So they are now having a look around the car, but I can see lots of grass and stuff in the front grille, as I think Joe rightly pointed out. And the team are just having a quick look round that now. I can sort of see that they're going to work, and driver's just jumping out of the car now, obviously not looking particularly happy, so I'll hopefully get a chat with Seb Ledoux, who's just jumped out of that car in a few seconds time, or I might just try and grab him now, but he's still got his helmet on and looking at the front grille with another member of the team. If you just bear with me a second.
So of course Seb Ledoux, the owner of the team, the number 90 ETP car has been recovered, but it took a while to get Antonio Cinero out the car because the driver's door had actually.
Q1Q Pharmacy, quality healthcare at affordable price.
Summer holidays vandachu, நம்ம GT Holidays vandachu. GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
Vandache, the Chennai Silks in Mega Combo Sale, Summer Chill Out Sale.